Hello, everybody, and good afternoon, and a big warm welcome to our third instalment of our new strategic wellbeing webinar series. I'm not sure we can call it new anymore if it's our third one. But this is our wellbeing series that we're running in partnership with the wonderful people over at People First, which is a fantastic organisation led by Amanda Anderson, who is going to be leading this session today. Before we get started, just a couple of points of housekeeping, if you don't mind. This session it's going to be around about 30 minutes long. We do try to leave a bit of time at the end just for some questions, feedback, thoughts, any other discussion pieces. From our point of view, it is so interesting to hear and respond to any questions you guys have. So if you do have some, please feel free to put it in the chat. I'll be manning the chat as we go along. I'll also kind of respond and comment and things as Amanda's talking as well. But if you've got any questions that you'd like us to cover at the end, please do put it in the chat. It makes for a much more interesting session as well. We will also be recording today's session, so we'll upload it to our client area a few days or so once we've completed today. So if you don't get to finish the end of the session or you need to leave early or anything like that, please don't worry, it will be there for you to take a look at anyway. If you're not currently a client of ours and you'd still like to be able to see it, just drop us a message afterwards and we can send you a direct link as well. I think that's about everything really. So I'm going to hand over to Amanda. For those of you who've not yet met Amanda or don't know her, she is the founder of People First. She has an absolute wealth of fascinating experience in a lot of different areas, including both the education sector and, very randomly, motorsport. So today Amanda's going to discuss 5 steps to building an amazing wellbeing strategy. I'm personally really looking forward to this session. I think there's some really interesting points to cover. So without further ado, over to you, Amanda.
Thank you very much, Harry, for the introduction, and good afternoon to the third wellbeing session of our series. And thank you very much for joining us and taking time out of your day. As you'll be aware, employee wellbeing is the cornerstone of a healthy and thriving workplace. When employees feel supported, valued, and mentally and physically well, they're more engaged, productive, and motivated. And that's why we've come together today to explore 5 steps that can help you build a workplace wellbeing strategy. They'll give you a glimpse of the range of support services that we can offer and take you through some of our programs and why we've designed them in that nature. And they are designed to support you every step of the way in creating and implementing your desired workplace wellbeing culture. So don't leave employee wellbeing to chance. Build a strategy that ensures employees can thrive. It might be beneficial for you to have a piece of paper and a pen to hand in case you'd like to just jot down any notes. But as Harry said, this will be uploaded to the portal at the end, so you will be able to go back to it. So let's start off with step 1. Step 1 is developing a vision for a workplace wellbeing strategy. When we start our strategic support, we begin with creating a vision of what great wellbeing looks like for your organisation. Today, we're going to take a moment to stop, pause, and also reflect on what this might look like for you. And we're going to go through a very brief visualization exercise. I'm going to go through 5 reflection questions and give you a moment or 2 to reflect on them. And I'd like you to jot down your thoughts, your feelings, or any ideas that spring to mind about what great workplace wellbeing means to you. Somebody might like to close your eyes. You might like to visualize it on a blank piece of paper. It is completely up to you. But think about what this ideal workplace environment in terms of well-being will look like for you. First question, what does a typical day in your ideal workplace look like in terms of well-being? You might want to consider your physical environments, the interactions you have with your colleagues, workload balance, and opportunities for personal growth. I'll give you a moment to jot a few ideas down. Secondly, how do you feel emotionally and mentally in your ideal workplace? Reflect on your emotional and mental states, and maybe consider your stress levels, your sense of fulfillment, engagement in the workplace, and your overall happiness. I'll pause for a moment. Next up, what specific activities contribute most to your sense of well-being at work? Identify and note down some activities, practices, or routines that positively impact your own well-being, whether it's regular breaks, the social interactions you might have, or any exercise that you gain. We'll pause for a moment. Next, in your ideal workplace, how do you navigate challenges or setbacks while maintaining your well-being? Considering how you would approach and overcome your challenges. What coping strategies do you have? What support systems do you have in place? How do you build your resilience? Note down a few ideas. And lastly, what values and principles are most important to you when it comes to workplace well-being? Reflect on the core values and principles that guide your approach to well-being. It may be collaboration, inclusivity, work-life balance, autonomy, or personal growth. I'll give you a moment to reflect on this question. These questions are designed to prompt reflection and help you explore your vision for workplace well-being. By knowing what great well-being looks like for your organisation, you can effectively create it and implement a strategy that fosters a supportive and thriving workplace. Step 2 is around empowering leaders and managers. Our last webinar explored the role of managers in creating a supportive environment, examining 8 key areas. If you missed it, I'd encourage you to watch the recording or read our blog feature on our website. It is essential to recognise the pivotal role that leaders and managers play. Supportive managers wear many hats. They are key colleagues for providing emotional support within the workplace. They create a safe space where team members can express themselves freely and feel heard and understood. They are central for strong communication and collaboration. They build bridges across departments and ensure that ideas are shared and challenges are overcome and victories are celebrated. Leaders and managers are at the heart of conflict resolution. They turn disagreements into opportunities for growth and understanding, ensuring fairness and respect for all that are involved. They're also key in offering recognition and feedback to colleagues. And they nurture a culture of appreciation and continuous improvement. So a key question for this: how good are leaders and managers in creating a culture of well-being? The success of supportive management requires intention, dedication, and investment in manager well-being training. By investing in training for skills such as communication, conflict resolution, and emotional intelligence, you can empower managers to effectively prioritize employee well-being. By equipping them with the skills and resources they need, you can build a solid foundation for your workplace well-being strategy. Step 3, identifying and addressing your stressors. We very much advocate a proactive approach to well-being by offering preventative solutions and support. So understanding the origins of stress is essential for employers to manage it and mitigate it. Proactive employers conduct regular audits and assessments to pinpoint stressors. This demonstrates a commitment to nurturing a supportive workplace culture. So ask yourself, when was the last time you explored the main issues contributing to stress in your workplace? And what do your employees say about it? Engaging with employees is crucial. Their feedback provides valuable insights into the sources of stress they face on regular days. Open communication channels and anonymous surveys can help gather honest feedback, enabling you to do something about it. We've crafted a quick employer reference guide to help you navigate this journey. This guide highlights 10 common themes that contribute to workplace stress and includes reflection questions to identify stressors within them. By reflecting on these themes, you can create action plans to mitigate stressors effectively. For instance, if workload is a major stressor, consider strategies such as redistributing tasks or providing time management training for your employees. If workplace relationships are a concern to you, initiatives like team coaching and conflict resolution training can be beneficial. By proactively identifying and addressing stressors, you can create a healthier, more supportive workplace environment that not only encourages employee well-being, but also boosts productivity and morale. Step 4, upskilling employees for well-being. Our first webinar explored well-being assumptions, and we often wrongly assume that our employees have the skills to support their own well-being. So for step 4, we recommend introducing a well-being training program to your strategy. This ensures that employees not only have the necessary skills, but also know how to apply them when they need it most. A strategic approach to this might be putting it as part of your onboarding program. This ensures that from day one, employees are equipped with the tools and knowledge to prioritize their well-being. This could be delivered through a series of well-being workshops, which create a culture of understanding, empathy, and support around well-being. We deliver a range of workshops that aim to educate employees about various well-being and mental health issues. For example, stress, anxiety, depression, and also burnout. They're designed to foster open dialogue and increase understanding and reduce the stigma associated with mental illness. They also equip employees with practical coping strategies and also resources to manage their well-being effectively. They're designed to educate employees on recognizing signs of well-being distress in themselves and also in others, guiding them to know what and when and how to seek additional support. Incorporating well-being training into your strategy ensures that employees have the necessary skills and knowledge to prioritize their own mental health and well-being. By doing so, you can create a supportive and resilient workforce that thrives both personally and also professionally. Step 5 is around employee engagement in wellbeing initiatives. And I invite you to explore ways to actively engage your employees in your wellbeing initiatives. Employee engagement is crucial for creating a supportive and thriving workplace culture. So here's a couple of ideas for you. Firstly, why not consider establishing a wellbeing committee? A dedicated team will champion employee wellbeing initiatives for you, gathering feedback from employees and tailoring strategies to meet the unique needs of your workforce. The committee can organise events, monitor the success of initiatives, and ensure that wellbeing remains a priority. Secondly, I'd encourage you to conduct regular wellbeing reviews. Use surveys, focus groups, or even one-to-one meetings to assess employee wellbeing, identifying areas of concern and evaluate the effectiveness of your existing initiatives. This feedback is invaluable for informing decision-making and prioritising your future actions. Regular reviews help keep your strategy dynamic and also responsive to your employee needs. And thirdly, consider investing in mental health first aiders and wellbeing champions. Organisations are increasingly recognising the important impact of investing in these roles within their organisations. They serve as a catalyst for change by raising awareness about mental health and wellbeing issues. Through educational initiatives, open discussions, they also help to empower colleagues to recognise the sign of mental distress and seek appropriate support when needed. They are instrumental in creating a supportive environment where every individual feels heard and valued. By encouraging inclusivity and empathy, they help break down barriers and promote a culture of understanding and acceptance. They're key in providing invaluable peer support to those in need. Whether it's lending a listening ear or offering practical advice, they serve as trusted colleagues who provide comfort and reassurance during challenging times. They play a crucial role in identifying and addressing issues within the workplace. They can relay concerns to management that help create a safer and healthier work environment for all. Last but not least, mental health first aiders and wellbeing champions lead by example, inspiring healthy habits and positive behaviours amongst their peers. Through their actions and attitudes, they set a precedent for prioritising well-being and creating a culture of wellness within the organisation. If you haven't considered mental health first aiders or well-being champions, now is time to explore this as part of your strategy. These roles can significantly enhance your workplace culture and provide much needed support to employees. If you already have these roles in your organisation, please encourage these key personnel to attend our networking group, The Exchange. The Exchange is our online community network that provides a supportive and collaborative environment for mental health first aiders, mental health champions, and wellbeing champions. It offers a valuable opportunity for members to exchange knowledge, strategies, and experiences, as well as sharing successful practices. It's a great opportunity to learn about what other organisations are doing and implementing in creating their supportive workplace culture. And if you haven't got these roles in place already and you're interested in developing them, please get in touch regarding our training programs. In summary, creating a thriving workplace wellbeing strategy involves understanding what wellbeing looks like for your organisation, empowering leaders and managers, identifying and addressing your stressors, upskilling employees, and engaging them in wellbeing initiatives. I hope these insights and reflections will help you to start building or even refining your current wellbeing strategies. Together, we can create workplaces where everyone can thrive. Let's make wellbeing a priority for everyone Thank you for your commitment to fostering a healthier and happier workplace. Thank you very much. Harry, just wondering what time is left for any questions and if we have any in the chat.
Plenty, yeah, we've got 9 minutes left. If you do have any questions that you wanted to include in the chat, now would be the time. Please do put them down. We do also have a couple of questions that were submitted on registration, so we'll try and maybe do 1 or 2 from each and see where we get to in the next 10 minutes or so. We'll do our best to finish off by 12:30, just to make sure that we're not stretching into anybody's lunch or anything like that. So the first question, which was provided to us on registration, which is, dare I say it, probably the golden question, Amanda. How do we measure the success of our wellbeing initiatives? Well, I've got plenty of thoughts on that one too. But Amanda, you go first.
I think I could probably do a whole nother webinar on that one, Harry. So maybe that's on the horizon. My first go-to on that question is, when you go back to thinking about your vision of what great wellbeing looks like in your organization, create it and then also add the tagline, if it's working, how do I know? How are we going to measure it? What are we going to see? So what will change? So right from creating that strategy, what are going to be those measures that we're going to, look at in terms of success? And I like to think about it as, what will I feel, see and hear differently in our organization? And that can be a really good measure in terms of it being fairly qualitative. There are a wide range of different employee surveys and reviews that you can do to measure impact, and also just the data that you might already have. So, for example, looking at absenteeism and turnover rates, staff morale polls. What might have I missed then, Harry? Have you got something else to add?
Oh, I'm not sure about missed, but I mean, it's such a wide question, isn't it? I think what's really interesting about that question is everybody in this session today is here because they're invested in wellbeing, otherwise they wouldn't be here, and they've recognised the importance of staff wellbeing. But sometimes I think it's really useful in exercises like this to actually ask yourself the daft question, well, why? Why is wellbeing important? Obvious question, but perhaps not actually that much of an obvious answer, because it can have different benefits and different objectives to different organisations. Whether you're a school, a business, a charity, it looks like different things. For some, it could be increased productivity. We recognise that there is an implicit relationship between health and well-being and productivity. And of course, productivity could look like anything to you. It could be how many sales does that person make? It could be what grades does that person's class get? It could be whether we successfully navigate through an upcoming Ofsted inspection. It could be have we had many sign-ups to our new mailing list? It could be all sorts of different things. But ultimately, well-being is going to have an impact on productivity. So that might be one way that you're looking to measure it. It could be that one of your ambitions from improving employee wellbeing is to reduce employee turnover. Amanda's already mentioned that one. That's a huge problem for organisations. Losing staff and recruiting new staff is ferociously expensive, not just through recruiters, but through lost working time, training periods, costs of getting that person in place, getting DBS checks and new equipment for them and all those sorts of things. So just reducing employee turnover, that's a very measurable thing. It might be that you just care for your staff and you just want them to be happy. And it's not necessarily about anything tangible. It's just about ensuring that they're happy in the work that they do. Obviously, that becomes a little bit more subjective, and no two things are going to work for the same two people, which interestingly is probably the next question that I'm going to fire at you, Amanda. But that's when it's more opinion based. Ask people. Amanda's already said there are some great surveys and great tools out there. Something that I would always recommend to people is as a first port of call is the HSE, and they've got a really good management standards indicator tool, which you can either use in its entirety or cherry pick bits from that you like. Given it's created by the HSE, obviously it's very evidence based and very reputable. So that's a great first port of call. There are also companies that will do these things for you. At Smart Clinic, for example, we have what we call a stress and mental wellbeing risk assessment, which you can either do per individual or on a group basis. What I would say with these things is you're always looking at the delta, you're always looking at the differences. So if you actually genuinely want to know what the impact of your wellbeing initiative is, you need the before and after data. Now that's quite a lot. Could be quite over the top in your view to sort of do a survey now and then another one in 3 months' time. You don't want to put too much pressure on people, but to genuinely get sort of measurable data, you need to look at what the before score is and the after score. Obviously, if that's employee turnover, then you can look at what your turnover was perhaps last year versus this year, or last year versus next year, or something. If you're looking more at people's own sort of self-perceptions of well-being, then you've got to ask them. And probably I think the final thing I would say is just talk to people, particularly in smaller businesses where you don't have many direct reports and you feel quite close to your team. Talk to people, have plenty of one-on-one sessions with them, ask if there's anything that they would recommend, if there's anything that they think would impact them, or if there's anything that you're doing that is genuinely making a difference. So yeah, kind of a few suggestions from our point of view. But one thing I did mention there, and actually it was another question that we got asked when somebody registered. I won't name them, but somebody asked when they signed up, which is quite interesting. They worded it as saying, what if our team has diverse opinions on what constitutes great well-being? And also, how do we ensure that our wellbeing initiatives are inclusive and address everyone's needs? And I think that's quite an interesting question, isn't it? Because what we're really kind of saying there is different things work for different people, and there's sometimes no one size fits all approach. So I suppose, Amanda, what would be your take on that, and how might you address that as a challenge?
I think, Harry, you've hit it on the nail on the head on that one. No one size fits all. And I think providing a strategy and having diverse input into it, I think, is really important, because well-being looks different for a wide range of different people. So making it inclusive, I do think, is really important. But starting off with a real comprehensive review, gaining employees' views, feelings, about what it looks like for them. And if it is diverse, great, accept it and embrace it. I think that's something that needs to be celebrated, and collect all those themes together and see what are the common themes that are happening within the workplace, and then providing those. But ensuring that your strategy can be flexible and you can customize it, and maybe have things that people can opt into and opt out of, and constantly gaining their feedback about what is going to benefit them. And really, as I think Harry said, talk to people, have conversations, and really design that strategy that can be flexible and cater for all sorts of different opinions, and have people that come involved and get it from the ground up, not just it being a management top-down strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more on that. Super. Well, they were two really interesting questions. Thank you for submitting those, whoever that was. We timed it pretty well, actually. We're at 29 minutes past 12. So I think it's probably quite a nice place to round that session off and call it a day. And hopefully you guys will be able to go and enjoy your lunches or whatever it is you've got planned for the rest of the day. Just final thoughts from me. I just want to say a big thank you to Amanda for joining us on this session. Personally, I found these sessions really interesting. It's been a really good opportunity to get talking about well-being, and also to get talking about actually planning well-being a little bit, on being a bit more proactive rather than reactive. So I think that's been great to have your involvement on that, Amanda. Amanda, just a quick shout out for your organisation as well, People First. If anyone would like any support or any input from Amanda and her team, please do get in touch. She is working wonders for us. I can speak from first-hand experience, and hopefully she'll be able to help you guys out as well. So that's all from me. Thank you so much for joining us, and Amanda.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Take care.